Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for the Gemini Highlights and Updates webinar. For those of you who are not familiar with who 66 Degrees is, we are a premier Google Cloud Services partner that helps businesses implement cloud, data, and AI solutions to transform customer experiences and business operations. Today, we are going to be focusing in on Gemini for Google Workspace. My name is Paige Heydorn, and I am joined by Anthony Jimenez, our Senior Technical Account Manager, and Kevin Costello. On the agenda today, we're going to be covering GEMS, the Productivity Planner, AI functions and sheets, Notebook LM. We will also be addressing any questions that you guys have. So the chat feature is disabled, but if you guys do have any questions throughout the presentation or the demo today, the meeting tool, so it's those 9 dots right next to the lock button or on the right hand side, you should be able to access the Q&A. So feel free to throw any questions in there, and then if we don't get throughout the demo, we'll be sure to answer them at the very end. And then also highly recommend following along with us today. That's all I have. Kevin, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you, Paige. Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. We appreciate your time today. Looking forward to all of this. So looking at the content ahead, we're going to start off tackling GEMS. So GEMS are a customizable and reusable shortcut that contains specific goals and preferences, simplifying prompts and questions within the Gemini app. Think of GEMS as your own personalized custom version of the Gemini chat window. When creating a gem, it is crucial to maintain the same writing style as writing with an effective prompt, including detailed information such as persona, task context, and format to maximize efficiency and customization. You have several ways to interact with the gem. You can utilize pre-made gems that are already tuned for specific topics, or you can customize a pre-made gem to better align with your unique business case. For ultimate personalization, you can also have the option to write your own instructions and create a custom gem from scratch. The Productivity Planner is a popular gem that is designed to save you time and keep you organized by integrating information from your essential productivity apps like Gmail, Calendar, and Drive. It helps you prioritize tasks and provides quick overviews of urgent emails and upcoming calendar events, setting you up for a productive day. This is one of many gems that we can tackle here today. Next, we'll cover AI functions in Google Sheets. This is a hot topic. Google Sheets now offers powerful AI functions to enhance your data analysis. You can generate text tailored to your data, summarize complex information by extracting key takeaways, and categorize data into groups, including sentiment analysis, to easily detect patterns and gain deeper insights. And lastly, this is a big one, we'll cover Notebook LM. Notebook LM is an enhanced AI tool that significantly enhances document analysis. Its core functionality improves generating summaries and answering questions directly from your uploaded source materials. This streamlines your workflows by enabling quick extraction of key information and insights from even the most complex documents. Notebook LM offers a wide range of capabilities to help you manage and analyze information. You can consolidate content from multiple sources into a single notebook. You can analyze data by asking natural language questions, and you can quickly generate summaries of your own sources. It can also help you ingest large amounts of information by creating briefing documents or study guides, and even generate FAQs based on your provided resources. Lastly, we'll cover some Notebook LM use cases. So Notebook LM has a growing list of them. For project documents, it acts as a comprehensive library for departments or projects, allowing you to upload Drive documents, web links, and YouTube videos for summarization, FAQ generation, and even AI audio conversations. As a research partner, it helps you compile and compare data from multiple sources, generating study guides and briefing documents. And lastly, as a subject expert, Notebook LM provides technical configuration expertise, answering questions about system requirements and specs, etc., and setting you up for a productive day. Sorry, that pays out there. And so that is it in terms of what we'll cover. I'll hand it over to Anthony, who is our Gemini guru, and we'll be taking you through all the bells and whistles today. So again, if you have questions, please drop them into the Q&A Dropbox, and we'll get them knocked out. Thank you.
Thanks, Kev. All right, let's see. So we're going to hop into Gemini right away, but I did want to bring this up. I know Paige mentioned for the Q&A section, the icon's a little different. I don't know why Google changed it, but in the bottom right corner, you'll see next to that host controls lock, those, I think they call the hamburger or the 9 different blocks. But if you click on that from there, you can ask questions. We have the chat disabled, but go ahead and ask those questions. We'll be answering them throughout the call. I just wanted to point that out again. But we will hop in directly into Gemini, and thank you guys for joining. We are going to talk about the Productivity Planner gem first. So if you want to follow along here, if you go to gemini.google.com, you'll see this is the landing page, but we're going to focus on the Explore Gems section right here. So if you're familiar with gems at all, they're essentially custom bots that Kevin mentioned. So you're making your own custom version of the Gemini app window. You're putting your own instructions in there. You're providing the specific context like persona and the task and different things like this. But using the Google pre-made versions that are listed here at the top, they already provide that content for you. So you don't have to put in as much information as you would your normal custom gem, because Google's already doing all that for you. And so you can see here, there are a couple in here already that are listed out. You can make copies of these too. There's only a few that you can't make copies out of. And of course, the one we're going to talk about, you can't. But if you click on the 3 dots here, you can make a copy of this one. And then from here, you can edit this and make it your own gem. So by default, this says that it's going to be a brainstormer gem, but you can go in here and change it. Like, for example, this says it's going to be your brainstorm partner for parties, themes, different ideas. But you can say, let's just change this. I want it to be a brainstorm partner for, 66 degrees company events. So you can use what Google already has built out on these custom gems and then just edit some of the content, some of the instructions here to make it your own. So I wanted to point that out first, but the one that we're going to look at today is the Productivity Planner. And so again, this is, unlike a custom gem, this already provides all that context. It's already tied into your Google account. So it's only going to access what you have access to. So Drive data, calendar data, any Google tasks, any emails, things like that. And then you can see here that they do have a few prompts, and we'll try these just so you can see what it looks like. So if I click on create a work brief for me, again, what this is going to do, because it already has access to my Google information, it's not seeing Kevin's, it's not seeing Paige's, it's only looking at what I have access to. And it's going to scan my calendar for any events, any due dates, anything like that, anything important. And then what it'll do is it'll create what's called a schedule task. So you can see here now I have this task that I can pause or edit. And if I hit edit, I can change the frequency of this. So I want it to happen every Monday. I want it to happen every weekday at 8 a.m. And now this isn't going to give you an alert in your calendar or in your Gmail. What this will do is create an alert within the Gemini app. So you do have to come back here to look at this. But if I hover over here on the left-hand side and expand this, you can see that the top 2 in this area right here that has these blue dots on those, these are ones that I've already ran. And so they've ran this morning. And so if I click on this, it's going to show you what my daily brief looks like, right? So here's a summary of what I have going on today. It's going to tell me about my day, what data I have in my Drive, what I have in my calendar. Again, I can click on this other one to show you what my work briefing looks like. And it's just going to give you a breakdown of the projects you're working on. Of course, this is our demo account, so there's not a lot of content in here, but I just wanted to show you that you can use this. And then if you ever want to change the frequency, you can see it's in the actual response here that we get back, but you can also go down into your settings and then click into scheduled actions. And then from here, you can change that frequency of, this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, however you want it, what specific time you want. Do you want it weekly, daily, monthly? So you can change that. But let's hop back into the Productivity Planner, because there are a few different things that we can go in here. So again, you can ask your own specific question, or you can use one of the preloaded questions in here. So if I click on recommend what I should work on for today. And so again, what it's going to do is it's going to scan all of my essentially Google account access, my Drive, my calendar, any events that I have. It's going to bring all those up. So now it's telling me, okay, you have a weekly sync, you have a one-on-one with Alex, a Q4 launch with Sarah. So it's bringing up all these different events that I have to work on. It's even going through my, exact calendar. So if I went into my calendar, you can see that it's pointing and looking at my events for the day, right? So it's going to say, okay, look, you have 4 or 5 events today. You have a call with Paige. You have these different tasks that you need to work on. And so it's going to bring that information into this productivity planner gem. So really play around with that one. We just like to mention that because there is some cool functionality in there. Again, and it's supposed to help you be more productive. That's in the title of it, right? So it wants you to use this one. You can ask more questions in here. You know, what do I have, scheduled for today? Or are there any, events, or do I have any tasks that are set to be completed this week or anything like that? So you can ask specific tasks like that. And then you can pin this also. So you can see I have mine pinned here. If I go back to the Explore Gems, you can pin this or unpin this. I like pinning it because if I'm going to use it daily, I want to see that one at the top. And then again, if you do have a notification, you'll see it here in blue. Another new feature that came out recently is the ability to share gems. So a lot of people have asked about sharing gems, and it's been out for a while that we've been asking for this, and finally got this to come out, I think earlier this month or at the end of last month. But now when you go into your Explore Gems, you see your My Gems section. Now you actually have a little bit of a share icon. Looks similar to sharing a file with Google Drive. So if I zoom in a little bit here, you'll see now that I can share this with specific people. So I could share this with Kevin if I wanted to. I could share this with Paige. I can change their access. I can give them expiration access similar to a Google Drive file. So they'll get this, and they'll get an email. And I'll show you what that response looks like from their side too. But when you share a gem, when you're actually creating one from scratch for the very first time, what happens is Google will create a drive folder, in your Google My Drive. And so basically this is what it looks like. So when I share one, you'll see that it creates this gems folder automatically right here. I didn't create that, it automatically did that for me. It's just to help you keep things organized, right? And so now when I go in here, it's going to show the file that I shared, the gem that I shared. You can even look at this similar again to like looking at a drive file. Oh, you shared it with this Anthony Test account. You shared it with Kevin's account. You can change permissions, remove, no different than sharing a drive file. What this looks like from the response side is, again, no different than seeing a drive file share with you. So I share a Google Doc with you. It looks similar to this. This is how the gem's going to come in. So it's going to say the person shared this file with you. I can then click on this and it will take me directly into the Gemini app, and I can start using this gem automatically. So again, I can start using this like this was my own gem. So if somebody else created this, they can now share this. Now it's asking for more details and I can keep kind of working on this gem, right? What's really good about this is once you share it, now you also have a different section. So of course we have the pre-made by Google that we looked at. We have the My Gems that I created. And then I have the share with me. So Paige shared a file with me. I shared a gem with me. Now it will show up down here. It doesn't show up. I think it takes a second. Like once you receive it, I think you have to like open it up from that actual like email window to start using the gem. But we really just wanted to point this out, like what it's going to look like from you when you're sharing this. You can revoke the sharing. What's also really good too is now if I update this, if I shared this with Kevin and go ahead, Paige.
Oh yeah, we also got a question about gem sharing I wanted to bring up. So we have somebody asking, is there an easier way to share and use someone else's gems that they have created? I noticed that a shared gem doesn't pop up under My Gems and I can't access it on Gemini on my phone.
Yeah, I think they're slowly still rolling it out. I feel like you should see it though under your under the gems within, like, so if you're using it in a different application, so it may not be on the phone yet. That could be something they're still working on because it is still a new feature that they're rolling out. But so this is the shared one that I have that someone shared with me. And so you can see that under my list of gems, if I'm on a Google Doc or if I'm in, Gmail, I should see all the gems that I have access to, including the one I created or the one that shared with me. You can see that this one's shared because of that icon. And then you won't see it under your My Gems. You'll only see it under the Share With Me section under the gems. And again, like I've seen it kind of like take a second or two for it to show up. So like after I open up the gem, then refresh this page once or twice, something like that, then I'll see it show up down here. It isn't instant though. As soon as you share it with someone, it's not like you can say, hey Paige, go check your gems page. Now you should see it under your share with me. It doesn't work that quickly, to where you would see it like if you were sharing a drive file, and if someone just shared with you, you would see it under your recent or your shared with me. You could have them check there. So like, for example, this one was shared on October 7th, but I can go to my drive and go to share with me, and you can tell that it's a gem. It has that icon on there. Same thing, if I open it up from here, it will take me directly into that actual gem. So you could try it that way. Paige, if there's other, go ahead.
There was one more too about the gems. So when sharing a gem, does the other person have access to any of the data you have uploaded into the gem? It's just the instructions.
Correct. Yes. So if part of the instructions, a good question. So if part of the instructions is referencing a file, they should see that, unless it's a file they don't have access to. So if this is like a standard PDF, like a local drive, the instructions would see it, but like the person who's receiving this doesn't see it. Same thing if I uploaded a drive file right here and reference it. If Paige doesn't have access to that file, she can't see any data in there. But if it's like a formatting type of document and it's built into the GEMS instructions, it would still work that same process. What's also cool to understand that when you share your gem, if I go ahead and change this information here, so this is like a branding guideline information, and I shared this with Kevin. If I change this branding guideline to say 2 to 3 relevant emojis, and I changed it to 5 to 7, he would get that update on his side too. It's like, again, it's no different than sharing a Google Doc file. They're going to receive that update the same way you would change a document. The permissions, as far as like the referencing of a file, that is a little tricky, because again, if you're sharing with someone that doesn't have access to a file, depending on how your instructions work, like if your instructions are saying, hey, access this, SOW or this invoice and read the data from there. But if Paige doesn't have access to that, she probably will not get that same response that you would in the gym. So you may want to change your instructions to, use this as a reference, or you would save that as a PDF and upload that as like a standard, kind of like a static file. Or you would just have to share that additional file with them to make sure that the gem can work properly, because it's not going to work exactly like you see it if they don't have access to the files that you have access to. Hopefully that helps explain it. Kind of a long-winded answer, but hopefully that helps explain it a little bit. Paige, is there another one before I keep going?
The other one is, if an account is deleted or terminated when someone leaves the company, does all of their gems get deleted that they have shared?
It should work. I haven't tested, but it should work the same way as a drive file. So if Kevin has files shared with me through Google Drive and we delete his account, we're not going to see those files anymore. Same thing with the gems. We wouldn't see those files anymore because it lives in Google Drive. And so you need to think of it that way. Now, what you can do is what I'm showing here is that you can make a copy of this gem. So if I made a copy of it, it would be saved under my list of gems. And so maybe that's a good way to look at it, is to make a copy of it. Like, again, like no different than making a copy of like a Google Doc or a slide presentation. All right, let's see. So keep asking the questions. These are good. Even if we don't get to every single question, we will get like a list of these questions and we can respond to you directly if not, but we'll try to get to every one of them. And there will be some time at the end of the call to actually go through more questions. And hopefully I have all the answers for them. Not sure I will, but we'll see. We're actually going to hop into Google Sheets now, because a newer feature that came out is the AI function. So basically using Gemini within Google Sheets, right? So everyone's, created, formulas and functions in Sheets. I am not an expert by any means at this, but, you equal sum and you select your cells, get an answer, great, right? Well, now you can do this within Gemini. So if you click into a cell, you automatically see there's even like the help me write pencil. Let me zoom in a little bit more. There's like this help me write pencil that you would see like in Google Docs or in Gmail, right? So you can start typing information in here. But we're just going to copy in a formula because I already have it set up just for demo purposes. It makes this process easy. But basically, you can start typing this by just going in like equals AI. So again, if I start typing that before I paste in my prompt, if I type in equals AI, you can see that now I can start building a prompt, no different than it would be to like build another formula that you would build, like a sum or a VLOOKUP or something like that. So in this response here, let me zoom back in. this is just like a t-shirt survey. So just trying to give you some ideas on how you can use this, right? So this is going through and giving responses on how customers like these shirts. And so in my prompt, again, I'm using this like a Gemini prompt, right? So I'm just saying equals AI, analyze the following list of customer feedback, provide a short summary, and decide the overall sentiment. And then I'm referencing also, I'm pointing to where the data lives, like where's that cell structure at. And so you can see when I hit enter in here, it's automatically going to want to autofill. That's fine, depending if you want to. And then now we're getting our short responses here. Again, I just asked for a short summary, so I didn't ask to give me, full 3-page detail. But again, for the first example, it's like the customer found the t-shirt unbelievably soft and described it as wearing a cloud, making it their new favorite lounge shirt. It's pulling this information from here, right? But it's just giving you the overall sentiment, right? This one, they didn't really like it. This one says the fit is strange, it's very boxy. So, okay, well, our sentiment is a little bit negative on this response, right? So just try to think of this in how you can use Gemini in here, whether it's analyzing, customer, employee feedback, client feedback, something like that. If you want to create summaries, if you want to create emails in here, you can create, short emails. There's a lot, and I'm going to give a few different other examples, but again, just try to think of this as if you were using this sheet, with Gemini, whether in the app, whether the side panel, you can put some of those prompting functions directly in to a cell now. Here's another example here, just to kind of show you like how it works. So this one's saying based on, just to kind of show you like where it's searching from, based on the purchase location. If a customer purchased online, create a follow-up email thanking them for their visit. If they purchase this in the store, just reply back purchased in person, right? So again, so now it's going to analyze. I'm giving it the area where to search from. I'm saying this is, look for column in D2. Now I could just say A2 to F2, the same thing, but I know specifically I'm curious about where did they purchase this item, whether it's online or in the store. And then if it's online, give a response. So of course, here's our response. It created a short email for me. Dear valued customer, thank you for your recent purchase from, Bamboo for you. We hope you enjoy your new items. We appreciate you choosing to shop with us online. Sincerely. And then it thanks the Bamboo for You company name, right? Here, this one's purchased in store. So I just said purchased in person. I don't really need a response for that. So any one of these is going to automatically create the email for us. I have the formatting wrong here, but we can change that just so it looks better. But again, so this would help you. Now you can't send an email directly from here, but this gives you the idea. Okay, now I know we need to respond to, client number 1, or customer number 3. We have the email for this one. We can go ahead and type this up. Now we kind of have like a base email that you can copy and paste in there. It makes this process a little bit easier, right? So again, just to give you some ideas on how you can kind of use Gemini within your actual Google Sheets now. I'll hop into another one just to show you some more options here. So this is like a campaign sales response, right? It's talking about budget, impressions, clicks, CTR, conversion rate. It's got a whole bunch of information here that I don't understand because I'm on the marketing team. So again, I'll put in a prompt in here that says calculate the CTR and the CPA for this campaign and explain what they are. And then again, I'm giving it, you can see I'm giving it that full range, search through A2 and M2. Those are my cells that I wanted to search from. Again, just like you're creating your normal formula. I'll hit enter. It's going to start to generate. Of course, it can auto fill. I don't care. I want it to do that. And now it's going to, do exactly what I said. I said, calculate the CTR and CPA for the campaign and explain what they are. And so it's going to give a couple different options here. So this one says the click rate is 2%. The CPA is $86, CTR is the ratio of click impressions on a mobile advertising campaign. CPA is a marketing metric that measures the total cost of acquiring a customer. Again, so just trying to show you some different functionality in here. Another way you can use this, the prompting, is you can point to a cell too. So you could say, instead of like putting your prompt directly in here, you could point to one. So you could like reference that and say like, equals AI, and then point to the cell. I'm trying to see if I can find an example, but point to the cell that would have that response in there for you. So if it automatically, has the prompt, you can type in the prompt, like, let's just say if I copy this out, see if I can get this to work. But basically we put the prompt down here. I could just reference this cell and I could use that as an option to say, okay, point to this cell for the prompt. I don't want to put the prompt directly into my actual function. Like, I could point to just this cell and it would run that way also. So you do have a couple options for using the AI function. Again, you can click on here and try to start building this out. Like, you can ask Gemini to help you build out your function. Again, this is a very new part of this. Before, you could just type in equals AI and you were building it yourself. Now it looks like Google has the ability to help you build this. So you can start playing around with this and testing this out and saying like, okay, what else can I do with this AI function? How else can I use this to my, my ability within the actual, Gemini app or in Google Sheets. Also, not just the AI function, but there are some other features that are out that you may not be aware of. You can also now use the side panel for like conditional formatting too. So you can highlight different colored cells, change things to drop down. So for example, if I open up the side panel here, I could say, highlight any budget value over 7,000 with light green shading. And so we only have a couple that are over 7,000, but again, you can see that now it changed to light green shading. You can always undo this. You can change it to red shading, whatever you want. Just want to show you that you can do that directly from the side panel. Now you can also change it to a column. So I want to make column be a drop down. And so Google Ads, Facebook, LinkedIn, I want to change this to a drop down section now. So again, you can use this directly from the side panel. So just think of like some conditional formatting options that you normally do manually, that you would select it and go in the format or insert, or however whatever you're looking to do. You can now do this through the side panel. And the last thing I want to talk about within Google Sheets is there was an update to the AI function that now has real-time search. So you can even see down here, it's like it's trying to give me a suggestion for like searching for average temperature. But for the example, I can say, I'm going to put in there, what is the best time to visit the location while avoiding peak tourist season, right? Well, how does Gemini know that? It's because it's going out and searching for this. So now there was a new feature update that came out with the AI function now has the ability to go in there and search on your behalf. And I can actually show, I'll send that article in here too. So you should be able to copy this from the chat. But basically it's just showing, now that you can use the AI function to go out there and get additional data instead of before it was only reporting on the information within your sheet. Now you can use Google to search for things. So basically this is what I shared in the actual chat window. So you can see that and I actually even took the example from Google, but it's basically just saying that now you got enhanced Google search results for up-to-date answers. And then you can see that the formula and function that it uses is actually from Google too. So it's a really good example. I saw one question come. Let's see, before we leave Sheets, Paige, I can look at some of those questions if you want to call some out.
Yeah, and I'm also going to throw in something else just rolled out today where Gemini and Google Sheets can now tackle multi-step tasks. So feel free to also give this blog post a look as well.
Yeah, this is the one that Paige is talking about.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. So now you're just giving him, a few different commands, make the status priority columns drop down, add new columns at the end of the table. So now you can put in a couple different functions in there. Thanks for sharing that, Paige. I was just looking at the last one. Are there best practices for AI cell prompts? I have tried. I think there is a help article. That's a good question. Let's see if I can find that really quick, or Paige, if you can. I know they do have like a help article that kind of goes through it. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, I'll share this on the screen too, and I'll put it in our chat so you guys can copy it. But it's basically just kind of gives you some ideas and some examples in there. And if you scroll down here, there is an example of like, here are some examples. You can try to generate new text, summarize specific cells, categorize, input, analyze sentiments. I'll paste that in the chat also. Let's see here. Okay, so the last thing we wanted to talk about, and we did want to save some time for questions too. I know we still have some in there, but the last thing we wanted to talk about was Notebook LM. So if you're not familiar with Notebook LM, I know Kevin mentioned a little bit about Notebook LM, but this is what it looks like. It's essentially a great place for you to put data and you control the sourcing, right? So when you're searching within the Gemini application, it's kind of like the Wild Wild West. Google is searching for anything and everything and trying to give you a great response. based on what it can find and what you asked it. Within a notebook, you're providing the source of truth. So you're providing the data. So whether this was an HR policy maybe, and you're sharing this policy out with the entire company, you're uploading the HR policy document. So there is no other answer out there but your answer. There's not going to be any AI hallucinations. There's not going to be any fake data or anything like that, because it's only pulling from the responses that you gave it. The PDF that you uploaded, the Google Doc that you uploaded, it's only going to give a response based on that. Now you can search for other data if you want. You can hit discover sources and look for additional information depending on what your notebook is. But just wanted to mention that. And so we have a couple in here just to show you some examples, right? And so like the first one is, let's just say it was an employee handbook and we wanted to use it. So I made some fake data using Gemini for like a fake company for our handbook. And what's really good about this is the ability to share this. So again, like if this was the employee handbook for your entire company, you wanted to use it this way. If you went to share this, you can share what's called the chat only version of this, right? And so when I click preview, I'll share this tab. This is all somebody would see. So they could go in there and they could use this and say, okay, instead of me scrolling through the entire, employee handbook or searching manually, I can use, Gemini essentially built into Notebook LM, and I can look for this answer. I can say, what is our PTO policy? Is it time-based? Is it, unlimited PTO? And then I get the response automatically because it's pointing back again to that employee handbook that searched, but I don't see any of the sources or anything like that because I shared the chat only. So now you can see it's a unlimited PTO. It breaks it down. It gives me more information. So just think of like how you can use this, like what's the current expense plan for our mobile device? There's even options down here that it gives you. How long is, primary paid leave? Like it does give you questions and suggestions for you to ask, but we're just going to ask our own. So what is our current expense plan for a mobile device? $50 a month. Again, this is only from the chat window. You can still ask this from the main view here. I can go back in here and ask that same question. What is our expense plan for our mobile device? And again, it's going to search and, it better have given me the right answer, right? But it even references it, which is really cool too. So, okay, this is on page 1, and it points back to where that is. I can click on this and it's going to reference that in the document where it pulled it back from. So I really just wanted you guys to see that and like how this works. How the sharing ability. What's also really cool is you can now build a video version of this and an audio version of this. So if you've never looked at this before, it's really cool. So if you click on audio overview, you can customize this. So you can be a deep dive, it can be brief. You want it to be a debate. You can make it longer, shorter. You can even talk about specific things you want to talk about. Like I only want to talk about, PTO. So make this audio version only about our company PTO, right? And then it would focus directly on that instead of, I'm not putting anything in there. So it's just going to generate a summary essentially of this, right? But I'm going to hit play. Paige, or Kevin, just give me thumbs up. Let me know if you can hear it, just so you guys can see how this works.
Welcome to the deep dive.
I'll fast
We
forward.
cut
That includes seeing failures as essential learning opportunities, which, sounds great, very high growth mindset. But
Yeah.
Here's the analysis bit. How do they stop curiosity from just becoming?
So again, that it kind of creates like a podcast version of you. So maybe you were curious about the employee handbook or whatever you're talking about. Maybe it's revenue numbers or you're studying for a test or something like that, but you don't want to listen to the whole thing or read the whole thing. I'm sorry. So you want to listen to it. So you can even download this as like an MP3, listen to it on your phone, however you want to do this, right? There's also interactive mode too. So you can essentially use it as it's like a podcast. You can call in and ask a question, and I haven't tested this, so this is going to be live. We'll see if this works, but just wanted to show you the idea of it. So it only works. You have to start from the beginning, but I'm going to hit play and then I'm going to hit join and then it's going to pause and they're like, oh, we have a question essentially, right? And then I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask this question here and see if it gives me the response. Again, I haven't tested this, so I don't know how accurate it will be, but it's good for a live test. So let's see.
Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise, taking a stack of source material and delivering the essential intellectual shortcut you need. Today we're diving. Whoa, did someone just break the fourth wall? Let's hear it.
What is our current expense plan for the mobile device?
Oh, that's a great question right out of the gate.
We were just about to get into the details on expenses later.
But we can absolutely jump to that now.
Okay, let's unpack this.
WidgetWorks acknowledges that everyone uses their personal mobile device for work.
So instead of reimbursement, it's a simple stipend.
Exactly. It's $50 per month.
And here's the best part about that particular
That's
policy.
pretty good, right? So it worked really well. So again, it just kind of makes it interactive for you. Now, there's also what's called the video overview. So it's what we just listened. Oh, go ahead, Paige.
I know, I was just about to ask about the video overview.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So essentially it's what we just listened to, but now they're creating like a video. It's almost like putting like a presentation together for you. Oops, it's generating a new one, but I already have one in here. So I'll show you what this looks like. And it even adds images and things like that.
Have you ever wondered what it's really like to work at a place like WidgetWorks? Well, we're going to peel back the curtain. We're going
Fast forward.
to is clarity. I love this phrase. Ambiguity is the enemy of productivity. It's so true. This is all about being direct and honest so there's no confusion. No mind. It's built on a foundation of trust and flexibility.
Again, so just wanted to show you that you can create this, and it works the same way, similar to how we were focusing on specific things on the audio overview. If you click the pencil icon before you generate, you can type out specific things. I only want to focus on the PTO, create a short video on the PTO. Then you can download this and have it focus on that. I just saw a question pop up, so I'm just going to call it. You can't reference a shared drive right now. Sources for Google, for Notebook LM are very limited. We were at Google Next earlier this year, and they're supposed to eventually come out with some new sources. So right now you can't even upload a Google Sheet. It has to be downloaded as a PDF and uploaded. You can upload Google Docs, PDFs. There's a document on the sources that I can share with you guys, Notebook LM sources. Eventually you'll be able to upload Microsoft files as well, but right now that's still not out there. But let me put this in the chat. Should be eventually available, just not yet. You can reference our website, YouTube. The YouTube side will really only work if there is like a transcript already a part of it, so you can ask like specific questions about the video. So there is a lot you can do, but it is still limited. It's still technically a newer tool from Google that came out this year, but that should help with like some of the sources and what you could upload, what you can't, what some of the limitations are. But yeah, think of Notebook LM as like your own kind of like repository, your own knowledge base. And this can be used for anything. You can ask, you can upload revenue documents from different months and say, okay, what's the overall change, from January to April? What, are there any trends that you see? Again, it can be used for employee handbook like we're doing. Maybe you want to analyze like employee experience, like, hey, here's a couple like, surveys or references. We can ask questions about like what these employee or customer experiences, like what are these users facing in their experiences? Are they having app issues? Where's the weakest performance at, strongest performance at? So you can use this as like a survey. This would be a great tool probably for HR, like analyze this customer employee survey, what they think about the company, what do they think about their manager, things like that. So again, here's a breakdown of all this data, and there's just so much more you can use within Notebook LM. So they have like the mind map where it breaks down like your sources, right? And you can kind of drill down into each. So okay, like what's the agent name? This is the employee. Let's click on John Doe and see what he talked about. Discuss what this John Doe source or customer experience was. So a lot that you can do from the mind map and just in here in general. So, and they're continuously adding on to Notebook LM, which is really good. I know we only have 5 minutes left, and so I did want to save some time for questions. We're going to try to do a couple of these, before the end of the year again, just to kind of keep this going. But Paige, I don't know if there's questions I need to reference or if they're all unanswered. You let me know.
Yeah, I can read out a couple. So can Notebook LM do an advanced analysis of the data you upload, or can it only reference it and then summarize the information? If you upload a lot of qualitative data, could it give you a sentiment analysis of that data?
Yes, that's a great example for it. Yeah, you can upload a large amount of data and have it analyze that data and give you an output, give you sentiment analysis. Exactly, that's a great use case for it.
I also just threw that question in the Gemini app, so gemini.google.com, and it gave me the capabilities in Notebook LM, and then it also gave me example prompts to use too. So utilizing Gemini for Notebook LM is also very helpful.
Let's see. I see this one. Is there a free is this the free version of Gemini that you're showing? So this is What we were showing today is what's tied to like your company accounts, like your workspace enterprise account. There is, Gemini available for a consumer account. So if you do have like a Gmail account, you do have Gemini available to you. Not all functionalities, but like, you're not going to see it within the, like Gmail and Google Docs, but you do have access to like the Gemini app essentially. Let's see, anything else, Paige, that we didn't get to?
Hopping back over to gems. So can you have a gem reference an entire folder in Google Drive instead of a single file?
I don't think you can reference a folder. I think the ability is only to upload by a file basis. I don't think you can select a folder yet. Yeah, it even says that I'm sharing my screen. Even at the bottom down here, it says add a file to reference, not a folder. So you can't reference that. But that's a really good question. Maybe now that they have the ability to share and like it's accessible back and forth with Drive, maybe that'll be a new feature that's going to be rolled out. Then now you'll be able to like, hey, here's the month of January's revenue data. Look in here and reference these files. Maybe that'll be something that'll happen in the future. So that's a good call out.
There's any other questions? Are there any public gems that you can search for instead of using stock ones in Gemini?
No, hopefully that's something that comes out too. That's I know if anybody's familiar with ChatGPT, they have kind of like a repository of like GPTs, they call them, where you can just add them in and like kind of start using them. We were on a Google call today that was kind of mentioning something along the lines of that, but it's more so for agent space. So if it's available with agent space, which is more on the GCP side of things, not Google Workspace, what we're showing today, maybe it will eventually be able to be available on the Google Workspace side. But that's a great idea. Like if it's a Google, similar to like a Google Chrome extension, like there is like a marketplace for you to search. Maybe eventually there will be a marketplace for you to search pre-made gems that are approved by Google. So Paige makes a finance gem, Kevin makes a Google, meeting notes summarization gem, something like that, and you'd be able to add it into your own list of gems. Not available yet, but that's a great idea. I hope it comes out.
Can gems create docs or sheets or edit existing ones?
Yes and no. So I've had success with it creating data, not editing existing data, but like, you could use it to say like, output a table and if you give it specific instructions, and you kind of have to reference that too. Like I've had success with like referencing an existing Google sheet that's in a table format and then telling the gem like, now when you summarize these notes with, to-do list and date and time or whatever, output that format in a table format. So you can have it output in a specific format. I've seen it be able to create CSVs. Again, it's a little tricky. Like you have to be very, very specific with the instructions, and it does take some time. Like, the first couple of tries, I worked with this trying to get it to create a CSV for me. It wouldn't. It also doesn't create like a Google Doc directly in there. There is something else that we probably will talk about maybe on like a future webinar that's coming out. It's like it's called Google Workflows, that you can use that would basically be some type of automation that would tie back into a gem. So let's just say, for example, I receive an email from a client. I want to use this gem to summarize it, analyze it, and then create a Google document of this data in a specific folder. That functionality is out there, or like at least in our demo environment, it should be coming out to your environment eventually soon. But so maybe our next webinar will be about that and how you can kind of use that functionality. But from within the gem itself right now, by itself, you can't do that.
Awesome. I know we are at time, so I don't want to keep everyone over. And I know we have a couple of questions left, so we'll be sure to reach out to everyone too with any questions that we didn't get to. But I hope everyone enjoyed the call today. If you are interested in more, maybe customizable trainings, or, how we could also just help your organization learn how to use, Gemini, Gems, Notebook LM, you name it. We do have pretty customizable offerings, so feel free to reach out to your account manager. If you don't know who that is, you could also just reach out to us and we could get you guys connected. But really appreciate your guys' time today. If you learned at least one thing, then today was a win. Yeah, that's all I had. Anthony, Kevin, do you guys have anything?
I was just going to mention, I put in the chat too, that we do have some training videos on our YouTube channels, 3 new ones that we recently had done. So I'll put the link in there to our YouTube channel. I think Paige put it in the beginning of the call, but if you guys weren't on the call, feel free to check that out. And then, yeah, I saw a question about what 66 degrees can do at the last one. So yeah, so I mean, basically, if you're looking for that question, if that's basically around Gemini, we can lead like customized training for your company and your team. So if you have a marketing team that you really want to focus training on, we can lead a training directly for them and their use cases, that kind of specific thing. So yeah, so if you're curious about getting some more advanced Gemini training, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk more about that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope everyone has a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.